Hi, I'm Richard Ross. I teach student ministry at Southwestern Seminary in Fort Worth. In an earlier module, I was explaining to you that a pipe is a pretty good symbol. It shows the connection that should be in place between the hearts of parents and teenagers. It becomes the conduit through which spiritual influence can move. That conduit is a relationship. When the relationship is warm and intimate and strong between a parent and a teenager, on average, faith is going to move easily to that young person. We also established in that module, though, that things happen that break heart connections. Parents can be mean, even teenagers can be mean, they can be brutal to each other, they can get distracted with all kinds of activities. There are things that can happen that weaken relationships. I want in this particular module to show you some ways to re-establish that relationship. To use the scriptural wording in Malachi, it is the turning of the hearts of the parents back to the children. It is turning the hearts of the children back to their parents. And that's when we see spiritual life begin to freshen up again. Several suggestions I think will be helpful to you as we really think about how is it that we can lead families to rebuild the closeness that they have lost. First suggestion I want to make is this. You need to stand before parents and teenagers and prophetically call them to think through carefully the schedules that characterize their lives. You see, parents have not thought carefully about this. Parents have fallen into kind of a cultural norm, a cultural way of thinking, which means kids will do well if we keep them busy in good activities. Now, I believe in extracurriculars. I think most of them were founded to build better people. And in balance, I think they really do build better people. But many parents have allowed teenagers to overbalance their commitments. Do you know what that means? Mom and dad feel like they're being good parents by sitting up in the stands 3 nights a week, 2 practices and 1 league game. They feel like they're being supportive, but the fact of the matter is there are hardly any minutes when that family is in relationship. Dinners are just throw some styrofoam on the bar, everybody grabs something and runs their own way. There isn't a connection between hearts. Nobody's talking about anything at home except who needs a shirt tomorrow, who needs a ride here or there. When that happens, a heart connection can be broken just as easily as if people were screaming at each other. Teenagers do not have the maturity to evaluate their lives, their commitments, their schedules. That's why we have to invite parents to take the lead in that process. In some cases, they may need to say, we're not going to do 3 leagues this fall. You choose one. Or they might say, if you want to dance, that's great, but you can't dance and cheer both. They might say, you can't take 4 APs and do this. You're going to have to make decisions. Now, we all know it's not just the teenagers, it's mom and dad too. We just need some moms to courageously say, I love being secretary-treasurer of the local Poodle Breeders Association, but I've only got 2 more years with these teenagers, and for the moment, I'm going to set aside that other responsibility because I want to connect with the hearts of my kids. We courageously call them to re-examine family schedules so that a connection, a relational connection can take place. Number 2, we have to ask parents, we challenge parents to forgive their teenagers. I want to show you. Some parents grew up as young adults looking forward to having godly kids. They looked forward to having children that would live in purity, and it didn't turn out. Some of them have got kids that have done despicable things. Some of them have kids that have said words that would just crush any parent's heart. Some of them have had kids slip in their bedroom and take money from their billfold. All kinds of things have happened to parents. And parents that have been hurt can lose closeness. What you simply have to do is invite parents to follow the example of Christ, hanging on the cross, looking down at these men that are shooting craps at his feet. He simply looked at those soldiers and forgave them, not because they deserved it, not because they had asked for forgiveness. He just forgave them. Did you know if some parents in your ministry were to forgive their kids for the harm those kids have brought into their lives, it could issue in a restoration of relationships. Third point is the opposite of that. We've got to lead some teenagers to forgive mom and dad, and in some cases, mom and dad need to take the initiative by asking for forgiveness. Now, the pride of parents makes this difficult, I'll admit that. But we need some godly parents to say to a teenager, I thought I was doing the best for you by providing for you. I thought by helping you with economic advantages, that's the most loving thing I could do. But I have come to understand what you always needed was me. And now that I figured this out, I want you to forgive me for getting it wrong. Will you forgive me for being gone most of your grade school years? Did you know? Parents that ask in humility and sincerity, and teenagers literally do forgive them, that too could be the restoration. It could be the beginning point for a new relationship. But it's not going to happen, I don't think, unless you lead in that direction. Number 4, we lead parents to embrace discipline with consequences rather than emotional upheaval. We need parents that will say to a teenager, listen, you're a great girl. I love you. I respect you so much. This boundary that I'm putting around your life, I bet this never even comes up. You're just a great kid. But on a bad day, if you ever decide to violate what your mother and I feel like is a very reasonable boundary around you, if you disobey us, I want to tell you ahead of time a way that I'm just going to make your life miserable. I'm going to do something that will serve as discipline, something that will serve as punishment, and I want to tell you ahead of time what that's going to be. Parents that do that then just simply live their life, and who knows, maybe great kids are obedient all the time, but if on a bad day a teenager disobeys, there's no need for screaming. There's no need for cursing, even in Christian homes. There's no reason for slamming doors in people's faces. A parent simply walks up and says, sweetheart, I told you half a year ago, if you violated this boundary, there would be a price to pay. You've done it, and now the consequence begins. I want your cell phone. I want your car keys right now. The interesting thing is that punishment, if you want to use that term, that discipline, it does shape the behavior of the teenager, but it does not harm the heart connection. We've not done anything that damages the relationship. Number 5, parents can get that closeness back. Parents can turn their hearts more toward their teenager by using words that build up and encourage. I have found that Christian parents are not aware of most of their words. At home, it's just family life. Hey, would you pick that up? Could you please stop doing that? Why can't you be like your big brother? He used to make us so proud. It's just it's just stuff. And in conferences, I discover all the time that parents will, when they think about it, realize I have gone weeks and weeks with constant criticism, but I have said nothing that encourages. I've said nothing that builds up. I've done nothing that convinces this teenager that he or she is a marvelous human being. Parents have lost a great opportunity here because it is in that honest blessing and honest encouragement that teenagers tend to turn their heart more back toward mom and dad. When heart connections are restored, then we have opportunity for spiritual impact to begin flowing again.